Welcome back to our series on helping kids overcome reading difficulties. My name is Brian Vieira. I'm the founder of T.A.G or T.A.G, the academic gym at ScholarSkills, which uses visual, interactive, tactile learning to help children overcome reading difficulties. And if you want to know more about that, just type in T.A.G, T.A.G, the academic gym. Well, let's review what we've been learning. And I want to go over the three big ideas in reading instruction. This is really important. And what are those three big ideas? It summarizes what we've been doing. The first idea is phonological awareness, and it refers to the student's understanding that words consist of sounds, that the words they hear us speak, the words they hear us read, the words that they hear us sing, the words that they themselves might begin to chant, even the sounds that kids make, those little syllabic sounds like ba ba ba, whatever sounds or speech sounds they attempt to make, we want them to understand that those words consist of sounds, that all around us, the universe of words really is filled with sound. Sound, words. Words consist of sounds. That's the big idea. And this idea is linked to the second big idea, which is the alphabetic principle. Now, what is that? The alphabetic principle refers to the student's understanding that letters represent sounds. I like this term, alphabetic principle. Okay? The alphabetic principle refers to the student's understanding that letters represent sounds. And we discussed that because earlier we talked about phonemic awareness. And so these are really corollary ideas. They connect, and they really occur at the same time, or roughly the same time. What is that? The alphabetic principle refers to the student's understanding that letters represent sounds. But what are those sounds? Those sounds are speech sounds. And if you recall, let me go back very quickly, we looked at the fact that speech sounds are called phonemes. They are the building blocks of all the words that we say, all the words that we can create. We use 44 speech sounds to create those words. And so coming back now to the big idea, what we have here now is this concept of the alphabet or letters linking to those sounds. As we said in our last video, it's imperative that we teach children that speech sounds are written down or encoded into writing by the use of the alphabetic letters. And though there are 44 speech sounds, there are only 26 alphabetic letters, and so it will require a combination of those letters to represent all of the speech sounds. Again, this is tied to what we said earlier about phonemic awareness. That phonemic awareness is the student's automatic and skillful ability to recognize and manipulate individual sounds within oral words. So watch this. The student understands the principle that letters stand for sounds. And as the student now listens to speech sounds, he or she begins to recognize the individual sounds and to label them with letters. So if I say, let's see, bat to the student will think, okay, I can hear those sounds. I'm beginning to understand that the word bat has three sounds, b, a, t, and that those sounds can be spelled with the letters B, A, T, which are written down in the same sequence of the sounds I just heard. I can match letters to sounds, and I can write down the sound I just heard, and I can spell that sound by naming, I can spell that word sound by naming each letter naming each sound with a letter that word consists of. So the word dog, for example, the students will say, wait a minute, I can spell dog now because I know that D stands for D, that O stands for A, and that G stands for G. So when they can hear the individual sounds and words, they can then map or connect each sound to a letter, and boy, oh boy, are they on their way to some powerful reading. If your kids have been diagnosed with dyslexia, or if they're struggling with reading difficulties for whatever reason, you must begin here. Don't give them picture books and have them guess. Please don't give them pictures and say, oh, what is that? Please don't do that. Please don't ask them to memorize quote unquote sight words. Please don't do that. Don't do that. Help them to understand that letters and sounds are connected, that we begin with sound. They hear the sound, and then they can spell that sound by identifying or labeling the sound with the letter that was created to represent, codify, symbolize, encode. Big words, right? To match that sound. It's that simple. The foundations are not difficult, but if we avoid them, if we try to rush our kids into reading by giving them shortcuts like saying, memorize these 20 sight words tonight, or, you know what, this is just too hard, just look at the picture and guess what the passage is about, or look at the first letter and maybe you can figure out the rest of the word. These are time-tested, time-failed strategies. They don't work. And if that's what your school is using, please visit your teacher and say, I'm sorry, but I want my children to learn the sound structure of language. I want them to have phonological awareness. I need them to have to understand the alphabetic principle or alphabetic awareness. I need them to understand that letters represent sounds and they can be matched to sounds. I need my children to have a phonemic awareness. I need them to be able to analyze spoken words and break them down or segment them into their individual sounds and map those sounds with letters. This is what my child needs. Please don't help my child to guess. Please don't teach my children whole words. Don't teach them to memorize words. Teach them the individual sounds and teach them that words are sequences of sounds combined together, and that printed words are letters that match that sequence in the same way that the sounds are spoken. Yes, that's what you want. And if the school cannot do that, find a different school. And if no school can do that, you can do it. You can do it. Just learn the sounds because you already know the letters. So here's a chart that can help you. And this you will get at our website if you become a member. And become a member. You don't have to pay anything. I said become a member. What is that? What's the catch? It's free. All you have to do is enter your email so we know who you are. And here's a wonderful chart to begin teaching your kids. Hey, letters stand for sounds. And so we have, and you know, if you scan these, if you took out your phone and scanned these QR codes, they would actually say the sound. These are my favorites. They're called talking sound cards. So your kids can use an iPad, very, very, very carefully scan the sound, and it'll say D. You see, and they can connect it with the word dog or even the picture below. These are wonderful, and this is free for you. Just click on becoming a member, and you get all of these tools free, okay? Here's another chart. You might say, I've never learned this in school. Well, here's your little cheat sheet. Okay, mom, dad, parent, whoever you are. Come on, here they are. So we have A, B. These are what we call phonograms. What's a phonogram? Phono means sound, gram means to write. Like a graph, right? Graph means to write. So a phonogram, here's the secret, a phonogram is a sound that's written down. And how do we do that? We use letters and combinations of letters to create these phonograms, these ways to write down phonemes or sounds, okay? If I'm going too fast, stop and replay this lesson. It's so important. That's why I cut it down to digestible chunks of 10 to 15 minutes. So here are all the alphabet letters and the sounds they represent. And if you scroll down, you'll see combinations of sounds that have to be blended, or we call them sometimes vowel teams. There are other things like that. But, you know, take a look at A, the sound A. In the word eight, there's a sound A. E-I-G-H spells A. And this chart will help you to learn the 44 ways, or the 44 sounds, and the almost 74 ways that we can use to write them down. Oh, get this chart. You'll love it. Learn your sounds. You don't have to have a PhD to help your children or your students learn to read. You just have to become familiar and immerse yourself into the sound structure of the language by using simple tools that maybe you didn't learn in school. Get these, click on the link below to become a member of our site. And again, there's no cost, there's nothing to that. It just helps us understand who's coming to our site, help us serve you better, what needs you might have. We'll email you with things that you might need. If you don't want them, just throw them out. But the bottom line is we will give you essential tools and videos that will help you understand how you can begin teaching your students in class and your children at home by you yourself becoming a sound master. Doesn't that sound cool? Yeah, you can become a sound master. It's not that hard. Look, just learn 5 sounds a day. By the end of the month, you're halfway there, okay? And learn all the ways to write or to spell those sounds. Then you can go and help your kids overcome the devastating difficulties that reading challenges pose to them. Yes, you can. You can. You can. You don't need 10 years to do this. Learn the sounds and learn the letters that match or spell those sounds. And I'm ready to help you. Just click below and become a member and download this. This is part of your membership. You know what? I'll even add these. If you look at a podcast, you'll see these, the link. Click on that and you'll have, instead of downloading a million different things, one site, one page to download what you need to help your kids or your students learn to read. It's such a pleasure teaching you. I look forward to seeing you on the next video.